Check, check. I think we're going live. I think we're live now. Just one warning, guys. The reason why I'm slightly late is because my mic wasn't working. Could be it takes a battery. I usually have a blister pack of the batteries like right here, but I don't see any. So it could be that the battery... is this a blister pack? I don't even know. But let me know if the... is this one of those blister... this is a blister pack. Yeah, so I can always just replace the battery right here if that's what it is. But it was just acting a little wonky. A bit wonky on me. Check, check, check. Well, it's showing up on the screen here. Check, check, check. 1, 2. Yeah, no, I got volume. All right, so Ben says live, loud, and clear. So it looks like it's working. It's my coffee. How you doing? Oh, it's coming in hot. All right, what's up, Joe? What's up, Ben? Eddie? Alexander? Walter? Gary? Frank? Terry? Little Hooker Jam? Bearded Jedi? Dwight? Rock Nutter? Rob S. Jason Wade? Headstock Harem. Mark says it's working, and I believe him because Mark is he doesn't steer me wrong. Okay. Green Meanie, Benton still sounds good for the money. I agree. I'd say the weakest part of it are the pickups. The pickups are the weakest part. The rest of the build is stellar. But yeah, they're passable. They work. Guitar solo is sounding good, says Bearded Blues. Okay, sounds good. Going a little fast here. Double R, Chris, Brian from Oregon, Caffeine Thug, Gareth, Frank again, Lando. What's up, Lando 27? Guitar Man 45, Alex 2112, Michael, Tone Overdrive, Mr. BHB Jr. What's up, buddy? Andy O, Joey Vano, Rick Lavin, Pete Straw, George Kelly, Coots. What's up, Coots? Coming in clear from Montreal. What's up, Star Pete from Ireland? Gary says, is that new? No, I've had this in a couple of months now. I've been waiting on a bass. The first one came through with a snap neck. So, thanks to UPS. You can literally see the guy's foot like went through the box, and then he just stepped on it and just applied the pressure, just cracked the neck, just split it right down the side. No, you rock, Jeffrey. B from Vancouver, Blank Palette. Are you ever going to go to Sweetwater? Seems I should go to that, but I don't know. I'm just saying flights are getting cheaper. I don't know why. Anything in the news lately? CEB Jr. says guitar sounds awesome. That sounds good. Someone mentioned, what's that, the STL tone? How? Yeah, come at me. Mike Bradley. What's up, buddy? What kind of coffee tonight? It's the Starbucks. And we should have a very serious talk about that right now. I don't know if I'm going to get through this. It appears that Costco has stopped making their blends. There's no more Kirklands. There's no more Kirkland Costa Rica. There's no more Kirkland Rwandan. There's no more Kirkland, the Somalian, which is one of my, Sumatran, which is one of my favorite. They appear to be just blowing out stock online. They're no longer in stores. I am reduced to buying Starbucks every time. I'm in a coffee hole right now. I'm in a serious coffee hole. So I'm gonna have to expand, branch out. Apparently I'm gonna have to go to like Trader Joe's or some shit. I don't have the right haircut for that place. You know what I'm saying? Or Whole Foods, but yeah, no. I'm glad I'm sitting down. Just because, yeah, it's been a source of grief. Been a sort of source of grief around here, big time. The coffee was just so damn good. I just would look forward to it, and they would just switch it up every 6 to 8 weeks, 12 weeks tops to have a whole new blend. And I'd be like, oh, look at me, woohoo, woo, woo, woo. Where's Brady going? I think anywhere but here. I think it's over here, but we'll see. I could be proven wrong, but how's the coronavirus been for me? Well, we got a robocall today from the town. Apparently 11 people of the town are under quarantine because, including the school superintendent, because last week they went to an event, and one of the people at the event tested positive for coronavirus after showing symptoms and going to the hospital. And now some of the people that attended that event are showing symptoms, including some of the townspeople. So it's literally in my town. That's how that's going. That's how fast that's spreading. So we got a robocall from the school superintendent saying, I haven't been showing any symptoms. And the schools are open. And I wasn't really in any of the schools, so, because they have a separate, superintendent building. But yeah, I mean, those people that work for the town, I mean, they're in a public building. It's been 7 days. I mean, come on. I mean, that's how it spreads. They don't show symptoms. Or that dude from up in New Hampshire, right? He went to Italy. And I think that's how the one around here came, right? Because a lot of people went to Italy recently on February vacation. And they're back from Italy. A whole school, like the Tewksbury High School, they went on their Italian vacation, and some of those kids are coming down. I mean, it's out of control. So, basically, I think one of the guys who was at that, I think it came from Italy. He had gone recently on a trip to Italy. And he was back, and now some of them are testing positive. So it's literally that close. The worst one though was that guy in New Hampshire, right? Who He came back from Italy, and he wasn't feeling well, and he had a guy drive him to the hospital, and they didn't have a virus tester. So they said, we don't know what you have, but, that coronavirus is sort of out there. And he was like, well, I wasn't in China. I was in Italy, And so he's like, I'm probably fine. And he went to a mixer And of course, not only did he have it, I think the guy who drove him over got it, and like a bunch of people at the mixer got it, and they said he's like the literal definition of like community spread. They told him not to go out, but he was like, "Nah, I have a social event I'm going to." I mean, the calls for that dude's head on a platter around here. Yeah, Bostonians don't take too kindly to that. Even though it was up in New Hampshire, God, the comments on that were like just brutal. Pete, sorry to see you go, buddy. Sounds like you have a little Kirkland withdrawal. I do. The Kirkland, it was so good. And they mixed it up. God, I would look forward. You could mark the seasons by it. God, I loved it. And it appears to be over. What's up, Desert Doug? What's up, Star Guitar Works? Any news on Spark Amp shipping? You know, I don't really work for them. I've known those guys for a couple of years now, and I stopped by their booth at Winter NAMM, and I did a video, and they reached out to me, and they're like, would you like a unit to demo? And I was like, sure, and they sent it out, and I did not know that it was in like such back order. To be honest, it's a really, really nice amp. I love the build. I love everything about it. They probably underpriced it by $100. At $250, I think it's underpriced by about $100. I think they could have got $350 for it all day long, and that's probably why they sold like 20,000 of them so quickly, and that they're having trouble keeping up with demand, because it just really was probably a bit underpriced. And then one other thing I wanted to mention, in one of my videos, I talked about how Android, on only Android 10, not Android 6. Android 6 was fine on my old Nexus, but on Android 10 on my brand new Samsung, which is a 2018 Samsung, a relatively new phone with Android 10, wouldn't run Smart Jam. And apparently they saw the video, because one of the techs reached out to me. It was like, reboot your phone. They wanted me to try a few things. And then that night, they were asking me what I had left. That night, a patch came out. Just not a patch, but you know what I'm saying. When you went to go check your apps, and it's like there's an update available. iPads, iPhones, every pretty much phone device has a place where you can go and update your apps. There was an update. Ran the update, boom, it worked. So they worked it out, whatever it was. So now it's fully functional. Everything works on Android as well as iPad. They're pretty much functionally the same. Oh, Buckeye says 224. Wow, that's quite. I'm going to say right now, that's ridiculously cheap for that amp. It really is. Again, I think they could have asked $349 and got it all day long, without a problem. It's so heavy. It's so well built. It sounds really good. And it's like when you compare, like, what else is on the market competing with the Spark amp? The first thing that comes to mind is the Yamaha. But I think the Yamaha's in the threes, right? Is the whatever the newest TH blah 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 is. Help me out here, people. But you know what I'm talking. Is it THX, TRX? You know the ones, right? Those little tabletop amps. Got a couple speakers in it, right? Has a Bluetooth connection. You can play stuff through it, right? It's very similar style kind of metal, the rig. I don't think they're 250. I think they're more. I think they're either 3 or maybe even 350, right? What else is out there? Waza, right? The Boss Waza Air, right? Then another one that's very similar, right? But that actually has a wireless system, so, but that's $399, right? Now you're up to 400. So I just feel like it. I think these were selling for mostly between. I'm seeing now as little as 2.25, but I think they were mostly selling around 250. That it does feel underpriced. Just saying, they probably left a few dollars on the table with that. Yeah, THR2. Steve, does a Spark accept IRs? No, you can't really change the cabs. In fact, you can't even change the cab. In other words, the cab is already married with the head. And they have 30 amps, but that's going to change. They're going to have 50 at some point, right? I mean, at some point, they'll just make more and more amps for it. It's got 40 effects? 40. But that's total effects, right? And that's broken into, like, compressors, modulation, delay, and reverb. And those are slots, right? So, like, compression, there's probably a half dozen compressors. There's probably 10 or 12, maybe more mod devices. There's probably a half dozen to a dozen delays and reverbs, right? And you add them all up, and that's where you get to your 40. Okay, so Rick says it's going to $299 after the promotion. Yeah, Boss Katana Air 400. Yeah. Mark says $209 for your order. Damn. That's why they can't meet production. Christ, they underpriced it. I'm just saying. You got one for that. I'd hold out because it's a pretty nice little amp. Oh, God, I just saved your life. Yeah, it's a pretty nice little amp. It's a fun amp. It's a practice amp. You're not going to gig with this amp even though it's 40 watts. That 40 watts is for nice, clean headroom, right? So it doesn't break up real fast when you're trying to play a clean tone or an acoustic through it or, goddamn it, a bass through it, right? You can play a bass through it. Actually sounds pretty good. But yeah, it's not going to replace a guy was like, can this replace my 50 watt, bass amp? I'm like, with a 12-inch speaker or a 10-inch speaker in it? Hell no. No. It is a Bluetooth speaker, a hell of a Bluetooth speaker. That's, that. That's at its heart. Can't believe I left my volume up. God. I bitch slapped myself for doing that. Damn, I hate that. Oh, God, I like that. So what's interesting is that they don't really make the content for it, right? When you go to those jams, they just embed YouTube videos. It's like the first one I clicked on was my buddy from 42 Gear Street there, elevated jam. I was going to say amazing, but it's not amazing. Elevated jam tracks, and he's got some great stuff. And I was playing along with some of his backing tracks, and it's straight through. Actually, Chris said he got his on eBay. Interesting. I guess people are. You know what? I could very well see it. There's been such a demand for it. I could totally see that, like, one of those devices that, people snatch up and then, quickly flip. Don't even open it. Quickly flip it right up on eBay to make a quick profit on it because demand is so high. Like like those gaming consoles, any of the gaming consoles. But those gaming consoles. Pentatonic scale. It's pretty much all I play. That's it. the color note is actually not part of the pentatonic scale, but that's the only one. Are you playing through a Spark? No, I run direct. You know, the thing about the Spark, I can run it direct, but I can't. It's not showing up as a stereo feed. It's showing up as a mono feed. They swear it's stereo, but I'm not hearing that. So I'm not digitally over USB. So I got to figure it out. I got to see what's up. Do some more testing with it. Because right now it sounds like it. The funny thing is when I play it back, I'm like, am I hearing the stereo effects? It's like I don't really know, because you have to go all in. If I ran the Spark right now, I don't think you'd hear it. I think you would, because I have to run my Focusrite, because I have microphones. I have all these other things I'm trying to run at the same time. So you need more inputs. The Spark is only one input, one guitar input, and that's it, right? So it's a very limited machine in terms of like an interface. Here's the cool thing, though. If you don't have an interface, right, and you want to fool around with that, you could technically go and use your iPad or your phone and go in and turn everything off. Turn off all the effects, the amp and everything, and you will have a direct signal, straight in, and then you could use it as a direct box, because a direct box is mono anyway. So what does it matter? So technically, you could run it as a direct box with everything off, and then on the return, you would be hearing THU. That is absolutely doable. Just basically mixing it up with rhythm. And doing stupid shit like little slides here. And of course, dynamics. Oh, really? The TV's behind? Yeah, they probably a bit more to convert it, and then to get it to HDMI, and then send that whole signal out combined. Yeah, I could see it. Have you tried the Blackstar Core 10? No, but a lot of people were saying when I had the Spark up that Blackstar makes an amp, I think called the Beam, right? And they were saying that is very similar, but I looked it up, and it just seemed like a Bluetooth speaker. Again, the whole thing about the Spark is that it does have that software, right? That and it's mostly an interface. So the jam tracks are basically MIDI tracks that seem to play back, and they just get randomized, and there's a whole bunch to choose from and go through. But the other tracks, the like fully blown, really nice stereo jam tracks that you jam to, that seems to be all just plucked right out of YouTube. And certainly when you do a search, it seems to be doing a Google search. It's a little weird. It's almost like it needs to be filtered more, right? So it returns like too much. But it sounds great. The build quality is exceptional. It's a ton of fun to play. It's damn loud when you're sitting just right in front of it. Although I don't think you could jam with a band with it, right? Because the speakers are just too small. You're not moving enough air to jam with a drummer. Drummer's going to move a lot more air. You won't be able to compete with it. You really need a 10 or 12-inch speaker, and that's a couple of 3-inch speakers. So it's just not. That said, though, it does sound pretty damn good. It really does, especially once you get the you get that stereo. The reverbs are stereo. You can hear the stereo spread. The delays, not so much, but they'll do it. I don't see why they couldn't. But the reverbs, I can absolutely hear a stereo spread in that reverb. And certainly with the chorus, and things that are stereo, like the Vibe, right? That sounds stereo too. Oh, the guitar cam, flame cam. Oh, well, we can do flame cam with the flame neck, the flambés. Oh yeah. Oh, thanks, Guitar Journey. Do. And then, I don't know if I can really show it here, but the back is a bit of a flame too. See that? I suppose, I don't want to, hope I don't bother you with 2 questions, but do you have any tips on when you should set time for practicing instead of playing? Well, you want to try to practice every day if you can, Just remember, practicing is when you're learning something new or getting down something you just recently learned or preparing for an upcoming event, right? And you want to rehearse the tunes. But oh yeah, my double cam. But for the most part, the most of the time should be spent trying to learn something new. I try to do it by just learning a new song. Sometimes I'll just go to like Ultimate Guitar and just see what's up there. Or I'll think of like a tune I've always wanted to learn, and I'll just quickly look it up and see if I can get the chords down. Or I'll hear something on TV. I jam to the TV a lot. Like a lot of commercials and a lot of backing stuff. I just try to go by ear and listen to it because they use unorthodox chords. Sometimes it's just straight up, There's a lot of commercials that are like that, but a lot aren't. A lot of them are much more sophisticated. So it's a little bit of a challenge to, try and find a few notes and make them work against each other. And that works on your ear, and it's very fleeting. You got like 30 seconds, maybe 2 minutes tops. So the neck it's all maple. It's flame maple. It's roasted though. It's roasted. That means they bake it in an oven. And stainless steel frets. Floyd Rose 1000 Grover tuners. What am I missing? It's I would say Sapele, but I guess it's Sapele or something like that body. It's basically a mahogany. And then it's just there is a top, but it's it doesn't look like this all the way through. This is just a veneer on the top to make it look pretty. So veneer top with a maple cap, and I think, or in the alternative, it could all be just the Sapele, whatever the hell it's called. Wasn't he a soccer player? And this just could be a binding. That could just be a maple binding without a doubt. I'm not really sure. I got to double check on that. But the top is nice. And they're under $500. I think they're like $450. Where are you going to get stainless steel frets? So Floyd Rose 1000. The cheapest Floyd Rose 1000 guitar I can think of is like a Charvel at like $7.99 or an EVH at like $7.99, $8.99 to get a Floyd Rose 1000. They're metallurgically the same as the German ones, except they're just made in Korea. But metal-wise, they're identical. When you get to like the Floyd Rose 2, they start to mix zinc and other things. But this is the 1000. Can't buy it retail. You have to buy the the Schaller one from Germany if you want to buy it retail, but this is available OEM, and it's pretty much a Floyd Rose. So it's like the good Floyd Rose, baked maple, stainless steel frets, Grover tuners, you know, the I don't know if I can, you might be able to see it on here. They really round the corners, like I just can't tell you how well they round these, the edges. It really is a rounded fingerboard. So, little things like that. And it's not made in China. It's made in Indonesia. So, yeah, I just think I want to say it's about $450. You got to convert from euros. Oh yeah, and like Ben Combs said, they do a good job finishing the frets. It's a really good, rolled fingerboard, and they really do finish the frets nice. Now it's one of the smoothest necks, and I think it's because of the roasting process, right? It's like one of the smoothest feeling necks, just so smooth. I think that roasting process, I don't know what they do, but it's like just so soft. It's very supple. The body's sapple, the neck is supple. Yeah, and a coil split. In fact, that was coil split. Coil split. Not coil split. Like here's the neck. And then coil split. There's the coil split on the neck. Coil split off. Coil split on. It's a fun guitar to play. It's just sort of like a weird, like almost like proof of concept. Like, what if we made like a really nice guitar out of China or Indonesia? I can remember the premium stuff from Ibanez. Bobby has one of those. It was really nice, and again, it was like around $1,000, under $1,000 he paid for that. I think he bought it used, but I tell you, it was really nice. This is even less. This is like less than $500. Pretty crazy. It shows you the purchasing power of Thomann. That is delicioso. Any guitars or gear that sparked your interest lately? Trying to think. There's been, I tell you, a couple of guitars that I really dug at the NAMM show was Epiphone reissued a bunch of their guitars, and they're finally using ebony. Hold on. You know, they're finally, you know, you can buy an Epiphone Les Paul Custom, and the headstock, it's not exactly like the Gibson, but it's a hell of a lot closer than it was before. A lot closer. And they're using ebony on the fingerboard. I love that. I freaking love that. I'm gonna get one of those. I swear to God, that's like so huge for them to finally do that. It's like, don't worry about, you know, biting into sales. You know, a guitar that sells for $700 isn't biting into the sales of a $4,500 guitar. Just not. They're completely different markets. Nobody who's interested in that $4,500 guitar is going to say, oh, I'll be happy with this, you know, $700 one. They're just not, right? So kudos for them. And again, I think it's the direction of that new guy. He's like, why aren't we using ebony? The other thing is that rosewood became kind of hard to get, and the replacement woods looked very light, right? To use like pau ferro, or, you know, I think they were using, was it the blackwood or ironwood? There's a few of them that are a little streaky, and I think they said, you know, why don't we just go ebony? And they did. They damn did it. And they do it on like a few guitars, right? So if I remember correctly from the show, they had the standard like Les Paul Custom in white and Les Paul Custom in black, but then they had like a Les Paul like a modern and like faded Pelham blue, you know, with the binding on the, you know, on the sides, and the ebony fingerboard, ebony, and with a trapeze inlay instead of a square inlay. That's nice. Big heel cutout, if I remember correctly. And then they had an SG again. When they do the SG with the new headstock, the headstock looks maybe a touch big on the SG standard, but on the SG custom, it looks about right. All right, so I think they're doing the SG custom. I want to say just in black. I don't remember a black in another color. I don't think they're doing cherry, or not in the custom. I think just ebony. I remember it was just ebony for the custom, and then they had a modern SG. Again, the same thing. And what drew me to it is that their use of ebony fingerboards. They had a modern that had like a flame top fade, right, with shiny knobs. It was a modern, and that had an ebony fingerboard too. Any one of those, I think, is pretty cool. What else came out? I love the new Kramers, but they're all sort of like one-offs. They're all sold. Maybe I'll get one. I'd like to get one in like the Crush, the orange Crush. I think that's the sickest color right now. And that in the blue. What else is out there that I saw recently? I thought was pretty damn good. I like from NAMM. I really like that Vola. The Keen machine. They had one in green, the green Keen machine, but I didn't like that one. A bit much for me. I like the purple one, which I thought was sick. And I wasn't alone. What's his name there? Wonderful guy, amazing player. You know that guy. He's really good at guitar. Joss Allen. He mentioned that too. He's like, of the NAMM stuff at their booth, he's like, that purple one was really just, the neck on it was so nice. What's up, Tank Shred? What's up, Daniel? Yeah, it's just like, you know, I'm going to be honest, I was not a fan of the old Epiphone headstock. Like an Epiphone Les Paul Custom with that, like, you know, mitered, the cut. I never liked it. But the new one, I think it looks amazing. I think it looks sick, you know. I think it looks really, really good. I wish they'd reissue the Pacer Deluxe. You know, they've done it, but they haven't done it. And bring me in, guys. I'll be a consultant. I can guide you on this. There was only a handful of colors at the time. You know, there was like a red, a black, a blue, maybe a white, a green, right? There was only a handful of colors back in the early days. And, you know, you do the original Pacer in the candy apple red or the candy apple green. Those were just so sick. You know, the colors they've done now, which are red and the green, they're almost a little too flaky, right? It's got too much metallic flake in it. It's not quite right. It's not like the old ones. Do the black on black pickups. You know, there was a look. There was a look to that era. What's up, R2, R3? Yeah, Richard said the Epiphone headstock was one of the worst ever. You know, I don't know about the worst ever, but I just didn't care for it. You know, I had friends who liked it, so clearly some people dug it. But the new one, Jesus, I mean, it's not exactly like the custom. And again, but it's closer, a lot closer. It's like an open book top. They're calling it a bell top because it's a little bit more exaggerated. I'm calling it the thicker book, right? The larger mustache. It's pretty much the same headstock, but just slightly different contours. But it doesn't have those big corner cuts, you know? And they're using ebony. I can't tell you how huge that is because they just wouldn't do it before. Special runs here or there. It's not like they never used it, but it wasn't the stock standard item, right? It'd have to be like some limited special run. We're doing ebony on this fingerboard. You know, it was a big cause for, you know, celebration. And now, thank God, it's just a standard thing. Again, you can thank Sights for putting rosewood on there. That might have been what pushed that over the edge. Are you a fan of no headstock guitars? You know, I don't. I have a no headstock guitar. I have a Steinberger that I like. But that's sort of a small one. I've never played like sort of a quote unquote full size headless. You know, like Kiesel or who else makes a full size headless? Kiesel's the first brand that comes to mind. But who am I missing here, people? Mayonnaise? They doing a one without headstock? I don't know. Drawing a blank. Music Therapy says, even though it still looks like a hump, it still looks way better than the old version. Yeah, I agree. It's not the same. It's not exactly. Someday, they'll finally just get over it, and they'll take a chance, and they'll just make the same damn headstock. You know, baby steps. You know, let's give them credit for getting this far. All right. And just getting this close to the real headstock, it's a welcome change in my book. So yeah, and again, the use of ebony. Not to repeat myself 1,000 million billion times. Oh right, Strandberg, right? Yeah, that's the other big one, Strandberg. Yeah. Steinberg and Strandberg. And Kiesel. Yeah. Yeah, I know. One of the things I remember from looking, someone said Epiphone is using new, better electronics now. That's true, because I remember when I was looking at those guitars, they made a point to point that out. They're like, now we're using CTS pots. Now we're using like our own in-house designed pro buckers that are based on wink wink the pickup you really like, right? So, but they're not calling them burst buckers, they're calling them pro buckers. But still, again, it's all a step in the right direction. And I believe that Les Paul Custom, which was a big, thick-bodied, gorgeous guitar, hunk of a guitar, I want to say it had a list price of like $799. This is something you're going to see in the store for under $700, like $699, maybe even cheaper. So that's a pretty damn good price point, quite frankly. What you don't want to see is that they come out with like the Les Paul Custom, and they're like, well, the real Les Paul Custom is like $4,500, so we're going to make this Les Paul Custom like $1,500, right? You see what I'm saying? Because they can, right? Because they pretty much own that. But they don't. They do it at an affordable price just to get the guitars in people's hands rather than, I think because they have that provenance, right, and they're able to use all the right look and everything, they could probably ask for a little bit more, especially where it's the custom, right? It's supposed to be like their best one. And you look at like sort of the mid-tier priced guitars for a lot of other brands, and they look at EVH, you're talking around the same money, like $899, $999, maybe a little bit more. It depends on what the features are. So yeah. I'd still go for an entry level Gibson before paying $700 for a copy. Yeah. I mean, Epiphone's the closest like legit copy you're gonna get, though. Right? At least it's going through the same people, and at least they can use the shapes, as accurately as possible. So there's some benefit. But, and there's the fact that the real Gibson, if you want that exact style, it's a few bucks. Even used, you're looking at like $2,500 plus, $2,200, $2,300 minimum. Have you seen the new $1,100 3/4 size Harmony guitar? I have not. Harmony, you say, huh? I don't know. What was the headless guitar Billy Gibbons played on Give Me All Your Lovin' music video? I felt like that was was that a headless Explorer style guitar? I'm trying to remember now. I think I remember that. Yeah. I don't know. Billy's had a few guitars over the years, to say the least. What's up, Krellbar? A 1980s Epiphone Les Paul plays better than a Gibson I used to have. A great guitar. I'm sure it is. Some people would just never want the poly, right? That's a huge, I think, point of, difference between the two guitars is the finish. So the people who are, I think, firmly in the Gibson camp, they just want the lacquer. And the Epiphone people, I mean, this isn't lacquered. It sounds fine. But it won't wear out the same, right? What's so interesting is on my top of the line, Ibanez is a company that famously never did lacquer, right? They always did poly, right? Just always. They're a poly company, period. And my top of the line, like super expensive, ridiculous, like limited edition J custom shop, That's lacquer. See, it's the only lacquer Ibanez I have ever played in my life, and it's sticky as hell. It's a very sticky lacquer, and you could smell it. You could smell the lacquer off of it, So some people just want the lacquer. I don't know that I really hear a difference. I don't hear a difference between ebony and rosewood. I just like the look of it. There's just something about that black block. I mean, the black fingerboard and the block inlay. They pair up. You know what I'm saying? Just like the trapezoid and the rosewood does. It's a thing. It's sort of a thing. Austin says he's digging the Harley Benton. Steve, know much about Samick guitars? We used to carry them in the music store towards the very end. They came out with their own brand. We used to carry like Samick mixing boards and Samick PA amplifiers. They were a weird company. I think Korean, right? Samick, yeah. They're a big builder for other people, but we started carrying them at the end. I remember that, Samick. It's a tough name to sell. I think Harley Benton isn't a great name either. Just, they said they wanted to sound American. It's like, it sounds a little, I don't know. They could have come up with something. Reminds me of Barbie Benton. Richard says he hates the block inlay. I like the block inlay because I'm getting old and it helps keep my place. Like, I need that big old contrasty block on there. Gary says he likes the glassy feel of ebony. I agree. I like it. I like all fretboards. This is a very smooth fretboard. Just the neck, so comfy. Sometimes like you pick up like a piece of suede, and it's just so soft. It's like you can't, just by looking at it, you wouldn't think it would be that soft picking it up. Then you touch it, you're like, oh my God, this is the softest piece of suede I've ever touched in my life. That's what this neck is. It's soft suede. Says, what do you think of that Frankenstrat from Fender? Did they do another Frankenstrat this year? I didn't really do a lot up in the I went to the Fender booth. I didn't go to the EVH and the Charvel booth, which is not the same booth. It was like across the hall. Haven't we already done that? I just feel like we're doing the Frankie to death here. I mean, sure. Okay. Yo, it's Aljon Go. It's we're just talking about Epiphone, Alshon. It's so funny. Everybody wants some Van Halen? Steve, are you getting a PRS in 2020? I'd like to. We'll see. Look, I'll pay you for it. What the fuck? PRS prices are climbing. I told you what I want. I want a 10 top for under 1,500. That's my goal. Wish me luck. My Corona. It took 2 seconds for that to come out. My Corona. Yeah, see, you know the riff for I'm the One? I kind of do, but I kind of don't. First of all, it's a shuffle, which is a lot harder to play than most people realize. Right? Oh. Hello, everyone. Guess who thought this was starting at 8? Yeah, it happens. You guys want me to change guitars? I can if you want, but you'd have to tell me what guitar to get. I got the Les Paul around. I got the Select Strat. Could probably find an Ibanez around here somewhere. I got a few acoustics. What do we got? I got guitars. I got Dan Electro right there. You know. Dragnet. I do have Kirkland withdrawal kit, George. I do have the Kramer nearby. I could get that. I could get Ibanez. white Kramer. Someone's saying the other Kramer. White Kramer. I'm seeing a lot of people say the white Kramer. I can grab that. Hold on. That's an easy one because that's right on the around the corner. So enough people said it quickly enough. I'm going to kill the sound. Check 1, 2. Whoa, 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 whoa! That's got a bit of heat coming off of it. That's one thing I'll say about the Harley Benton is that the pickups do not have a ton of output. And again, just to not give Floyd Rose like too much of a push, but this guitar's straight out of the case and it's pretty much mostly in tune. That low E. That feels slightly. Wait. All right. Wait, no. Oh, yeah. How about... Nope. There we go. I like this guitar. There's your ebony right there. There's your ebony. We were talking about ebony earlier, Aljon. We all got getting caught up in ebony. Mostly me. Now, how does it look on close cam? Let's do full close cam. It's a little bright. I think we gotta see if we can back that down here. So, yeah, it's a bright guitar. You know, let's see if we go right here. Let's just bring that gain down. Oh, there we go. Everybody's happy. Yeah, look at that. Nice little pickups. And again, the killer neck, right? The neck through. Look at that. digging that? All right. Let me know if you like this tone. I have other metal tones, but I've been kind of digging this one lately. This is actually not quite as crazy metal as the other one I use. The other one I use is based on an Engel and a DV Mark, and of course that's like totes brutes, brah. But this one is actually, I think, built on a Marshall and a Boogie, and you can hear it because it's a little bit more mid-push. Yeah, this is a good patch, right? That's the grin right there. That's the grin of I like what I'm hearing. You play out, what amp do you use? I don't, let's face it, I'm not playing out. God, that sounds like a burden coupled with a hassle. I'm playing out right now. This is it. It's bad enough I had to walk all the way over from that desk over there. I mean, please. I am putting a lot into this. The funny thing is, I went to go see my buddy's, my buddy plays with Jeff Tate, right? The guy from Queensryche. He tours under the name Jeff Tate, or sometimes Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime, or sometimes Operation Mindcrime. But basically, Jeff Tate performs Operation Mindcrime, and I think he's been doing that for about a year now, where he comes out and he does the whole Operation Mindcrime album. It's the 30th anniversary of the album. Songs like Silent Lucidity and Jet City Boys. And after the show, we were hanging out and talking, and shooting the breeze, and one of the guys was taking me around and showing me, a lot of the rig, and goddamn, they were playing through laptops. He's like, yeah, it's just easier. He's like, we have so many different sounds. It's like, it's just easier to go through the laptop, and it just, just call up the patch. It's like, god damn. It's amazing. Gardner, Mass, buddy. What's up? Which PV? Which PV Green Mania? This one way up on the back here, or the 100? The 100 I actually do play once in a while. You know what? I'm going to tell you. The Boss Katana. I got that Katana. I have the Katana 100 up in the attic. And I have the Katana Mini over on the bench over there. And I goddamn love that little amp. And when I play and I'm not here and I'm not plugged in and have headphones on, that's what I play through. I play through my Katana Mini. That's what I play through when I'm watching TV and just jamming around and looking at stuff. I'll play through that little Katana Mini. It sounds freaking awesome. And when I'm in the attic and I want to jam, I'll use the Katana 100 up there. But I tell you, I'm a big fan of the Katanas. You know, that in the whatchamacallits, the Hughes and Kettners. You know, between those two, it's like I haven't really fired the PV up all that much. I did fire it up recently. It sounded good. It's a good amp. See you, buddy. Big metalhead hippie was just kicking out. Yeah, later, metalhead hippie. Lando says the Katana Mini is solid. I agree. Yeah, man. I freaking love it. You know, I you know what? I run the clean all the way cranked up. It's like the most killer little, you know, over push tweed amp. I love it. I'll do that, and I'll do the, if I want a metal sound, I'll do the crunch, like just all the way cranked up. The brown sound can sometimes be a little bit much on those little speakers because I just can't quite reproduce it. That'll bring the gain down a little bit, you know. I don't like that quite as to full tilt, but damn, I love that little amp, especially on clean at full tilt, gain at full tilt. I friggin' love the sound of that amp. Hey, what's up, Perfecto de Castro? What's up, buddy? Steve just using built-in dirt on the Katana. Yeah. Well, right now I'm running through THU, obviously. But when I run through the Katana, I just run straight into it. I just crank up the clean. On the Katana Mini, I crank the clean channel on max, right? And it just has just that right breakup. It really does sound good. Now, when I want something more metal, I'll just switch it to crunch because I already have the gain at maximum. And then in the attic, I tend to use, I want to say, the lead channel. But it could be the brown channel. The difference between the lead channel and the brown channel is just, it's a tiny bit more compressed and definitely more bass on the brown channel, without a doubt. You like that, Perfecto? Liking that, Kramer? I could see you in one of these. I could definitely see you in one of these. Oh yeah, it's got Perfecto de Castro all over it. Right there. You know, just to do it. I'll do the close cam. And the close cam. Cambot. Oh, sure. Yeah, and you got your push pull right there. That activates the bridge at all positions. And you got a coil tap for the bridge. So technically you could put it here. That's the neck. Pull this out, and it's the neck and the bridge. And then put the single coil on, and it's a single coil here and a single coil there. You know? Pretty slick. Exactly. That's your jam, bro. Yeah. I have a Katana Mini and a Blackstar Fly. The Katana blows away the Blackstar. I don't have much experience with Blackstar. Mystery Science Theater 3000, exactly. It's Mystery Science. Is it, It's almost like Shattered. In the not too distant future. Have you tried Blackstar Silverline amps? I have not. I haven't. Hey, what's up, Ken? Saugus. We went to what's the donut place up there, Ken? We got the bacon maple donut. I think they're in Saugus. There's a donut place up there that's like Cane's. We went to Cane's Donuts. Oh my God. I mean, first of all, you're paying $35 for a dozen donuts, but you know, it's worth it. Yeah, I love the Mystery Science Theater 3000. 3000. Is that little dominant 7-chord at the end? Yeah, Cane's. Yeah, Cane's. Cane's, it's like the sickest donuts I've ever had in my life. Oh my God. $35 for a dozen donuts. But I'll tell you right now, to even eat a whole one of their donuts, you're like, they're enormous. And they're like, we were using a meat cleaver to cut them up. They were so huge. And God, they would feed like friggin' a dozen donuts. I'm gonna multiply that by 4. Probably feed like 40 to 50 people. There's 2 locations in Saugus now. Yeah. See you, Boston man. Grandson's taking the computer away. He's always one step ahead. Perfecto says, Steve, next name I'll bring you the best Tiger Tail donuts in LA. Yeah, I did notice that LA has a thing for donuts. That donuts are sort of a thing out there. Like getting a deli sandwich in New York, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Or sourdough bread in San Francisco, right? It's a sort of a thing. So it's a bit of a thing, like a lobster roll in Boston. Yeah, no, I'd love to check it out. The big donut at Cane's that brings attention is a very sweet maple donut with a maple glaze, and then they put bacon on the top of it, like this crispy bacon, and that salty, crispy bacon with the maple, which is really, really sweet. You can tell they really punch through a ton of maple flavor so that the bacon won't dominate. Oh my God. Damn. Good. What's up, Nat Man? Chilly Sarasota. They say it's going to be warm here again tomorrow. We've had like no winter here. We've had like almost no snow. It's been pretty mild the whole winter. You had the KFC donut sandwich? No, I draw a line somewhere. Getting gourmet donuts is one thing. That donut sandwich is a friggin' abomination. I don't think I could bring myself to do it. You know, Cane's is a destination, right? That's a place to go. You might get a box of donuts out of there if you're lucky, like once a year. Yeah, it's a bit of a drive for us. Chicago's had a thing for donuts as well. You've had that maple bacon donut, yeah. No, it works. It friggin' works. Los Angeles, Manchester, and Luxembourg. Randy's Donuts, okay. Like in Boston, we had a big run of like ice cream vendors, like Steve's ice cream, and then Harrell's, because Steve Harrell sold Steve's and someone else, and then Harrell's came out. Yeah, right, Ken? Crazy Boston weather this year. It's just very, very mild. It's going to be like in the 60s tomorrow. It's crazy. That is crazy. I'm 2 minutes from Cane's. Oh boy, that's a risky location. Yeah, I'm like an hour from Cane's. Yeah, no winter in Chicago either. Yeah, they said we might be warm this year, and we definitely were. Are you worried about the coronavirus? Well, it showed up in my town. We got a robocall today saying that a bunch of town workers were exposed to it, and some are showing symptoms, and they're going to stay home, but school is open, and carry on. Like, okay. Guess a guy went to Italy and came back and infected a bunch of people. It's in my town. That's how quickly that spread. Not much of a winter there in Louisville. Next week will be in the mid-60s. Yeah, we've been mild. Our average temperature is supposed to be in January 32, and it was like 42. We were like 10 degrees above normal. Have you thought about streaming on Twitch instead of YouTube? No, not really. I don't know really much about Twitch. YouTube is sort of where I'm at. It's where I have an audience. I'd have to build a whole new audience on Twitch. The KFC donut chicken sandwich has about 1,100 calories. Wow. That's crazy. That's crazy. And it's pure fat and sugar, too. And they just, fat isn't great for you and sugar isn't great for you. But together, that's why donuts are so bad for you. It's a particularly bad combination. Anything with a lot of fat and sugar. Where's me bar? Yeah, got to put some bacon on it. Exactly, Krellbar. That donut chicken sandwich sounds good, but can't we put some bacon on it? That'll be your slogan. Can't we put bacon on it? Dead Legs, we were playing that earlier. Gotta be careful though. The software bot, the bot will get ya. Yeah, what was I going to say? The Terra stamp, that was the other thing I didn't talk about yet. I'm hoping to get that video up and out maybe next week, but I got that new little orange amp where the amp is the pedal. And it's sort of an interesting thing, but you wonder, like, well, what's the situation for it? I think ultimately it's to have like sort of a little backup amp on your pedal board. Because why do we need a pedal amp? Like the floor amps are different, right? They're much more robust, like the Hughes and Kettner Black Spirit floor amp. It's like 200 watts, and there's I think a couple of floor amps out there, a few hundred watts. But the Terra stamp's only like 20 watts, and really into most cabs it's going to be 12 watts. Right? It has to be into the most efficient cab to be 20 watts. Most cabs aren't the most efficient cab; they're usually less than that. So it's more likely going to be I think a 12 watt. Cool, man. Thanks for hanging out, Perfecto. Have a good one, buddy. I got a copyright claim for Ballroom Blitz, and you posted the video. Yeah, they got me for Surrender. They picked that, and of course I'm just playing the chords. I have no backing track, no drums, no vocals, no boat, no motor car, not a single luxury. And sure enough, they flagged it, and Rick reached right in. He's like, I'm not the richest guy in Cheap Trick for nothing. See you, RC. Ice cream time. Dogpo says, I got nailed for burn before it was done uploading. Yeah, that happened with me. Van Halen, you really got me. They got me, all right. They were like, no. They're like, your volume has, they muted the audio. They didn't pull away the money. Like, they're not taking down the video for Surrender. But for Van Halen, they said, yeah, we're muting the audio output. You have to load up a different audio track to whatever video you put up because it's too close to the song by Van Halen. And so we're muting the audio. I was like, damn, that's cold. When will Guitar Rig be updated? I don't know. I should have went to them at Winter NAMM and demanded answers because I feel like they've just abandoned the product. Right? Doesn't it feel that way? I mean, they haven't done an update since 2011, right? I mean, we're like 9 years in. I mean, come on. Someday, maybe. I mean, it seems like they stopped at Guitar Rig 5 and they're just not interested in pursuing the technology at all anymore. It feels like it's completely over. Amplitude is still updating, and God, THU is better than ever. And who else is left? Revolver is no longer owned by PV. That's owned by like AMR's Audio Media Research or something. PV spun that off. I'm trying to think of who else is out there. What players are still out there? Of course, Line 6 has their hard software version of Helix. But, you know, that's an expensive piece of software. It's like $400. I'd probably get a Helix Stomp. You know, get the hardware. I think it would sound better. I haven't been impressed too much with the software. It's okay, but it's not, like, fantastic. They really need to update to, like, 2.0 or something. They really need to update. I don't know what it is. Although I will say this in their defense. Sometimes it sounds a lot better through speakers than it does through headphones. So, it could be that they did all their testing through monitors and it sounded good. But when I play it through my headphones, not feeling it. Not feeling it. Yeah, the copyright thing's been coming. So, yeah, but, you know, there's not a lot you can do. You know, and they have all the cards. And the other side doesn't really have to do anything. Right? It's like, thoughts on the Line 6 pod to go? I don't think I've ever played through one. I think for Line 6, it's really Helix now. Guitar Rig 5, number 1, they are updating it. And 2, so, yeah, but you got to remember, Fezzer, between versions 3 and versions 4, it was like 2 or 3 years. Before version 4 and version 5, it was like 2 or 3 years. Between version 5 and current day, it's been like 9 years, right? I mean, they might be up to like, 5 point something, but it's not like 5.8 or 5.9 where you feel like 6 is right around the corner. I don't know what's going on with them. I know that they've been doing updates, but not like they were. Not like they were at all. I feel like they've, I don't know, just slowed down production on that. They have so much into like, you know, a lot of their other products like Complete and Machine. I really feel like they just got bogged down in their hardware. La Machina. Kawasa make the best amp sims. Yeah, I have a Kawasa amp sim. It sounds pretty damn good. Yeah, I've never heard of the Line 6 Pod Go. Is that something new? I'm trying to remember. See, yeah, here's what it is. Line 6 is at the NAMM show, but they're in another building. They're over in like the Marriott building, right? They're not in the main hall, right? Yamaha has their own place over in the Marriott. So unless you make a special trip over there, you don't just like happen to walk by them, right? And because of that, I never get to see the Line 6 stuff. I always miss them. Besides, this year it's only there for 2 days. I wouldn't do that again. It was too quick. So, did you see the guys from Journey were booted out? The drummer, was it the bass player? I think they got booted. Or maybe it was the keyboard player. I don't know. Definitely the drummer. I guess they filed a lawsuit over ownership, and it was immediately met with dismissal. See how that goes. Pod Go is coming out in days week. So is Pod Go a hardware product or a software product? Almost feels like Go could mean it's a You know, it's an app for your phone or a friggin', piece of software. Acquire some Matchlock is phenomenal. Yeah, I don't have Matchlock. I have, what's their Marshall product? That's the one I have. Drummer and bass player? Yeah, drummer and bass player. I just downloaded the new Dirty Shirley plugin from Brainworx. It's not bad. Got the trial version. Yeah, I'll have to give that a try. I could see. I'm always up for trying new plugins. Podgo is hardware. Okay. Are you coming through an amp into the computer? Or are you going directly into a PC? Directly into a PC. Surprised you don't have a Digitech 2120 around. No, I have the Valve Effects, and I still have it. I never got the 2120. It was too expensive. I was too cheap. I bought the Valve Effects and convinced myself it was just as good. So Rat doesn't have a Warren D. Martini in it anymore? Jesus, I didn't even know that. The HX version of the floor pod. Have you bought any of the THU amps? No, like some of the side ones? No. I know the ones you're talking about. It's like their version of a Kemper. Just get a Zoom 505. Sure. There you go. See you, Pooh Ninja. Thanks for hanging out, buddy. Shortage on guitar strings because of coronavirus. I tell you, it feels like there's going to be a shortage on everything because of coronavirus. That's when you realize, manufacturing. Steve, what's your favorite Kramer headstock? Probably the Beak one, right? The original Beak from like 82, 83, right? Because that was really like their headstock. It was sort of like the original Kramer one. So, this was just a response to Charvel Jackson. So you have no sound coming out of your room, just your headphones? Correct. Oh my God. Longest coffee ever. I actually have it wrapped up in a little cozy over there. It keeps it nice and warm. Yeah, it'd be good if manufacturing came back to the USA. Yeah, they could do it if you're, this guitar is like $1,000. If you'd be willing to spend $4,000 for it, sure. But that's the problem. People get used to paying so little for things. Some coronavirus blues. What's up, Corey? Should pay more and make U.S. manufacturing a thing again. It all evens out. Does it, though? Not so sure. Because then you'd get inflation, because more people would be earning more money. It's kind of a weird thing. Right? If everybody earns $1 million a year, $1 million isn't worth anything. Right? Kind of it's all relative. Says, TWF says, I've noticed that several guitars' tone and sound changed drastically when they switched to direct-mounted pickups in 2016 compared to earlier models, a lot more low-end. Yeah, and they didn't change the pickup itself, assuming that the pickups are exactly the same. Yeah, you wonder if there's just a little bit more vibration transfer, you know? Because even though they're wax-potted, I have to think that they absorb some vibration, because you can, you know, tap on them and... You know, it's like, how is it? I can't hear that. That's... Oh, thanks, Kramer, right? Hey, Steve, what is a good single coil pickup to replace a humbucker that fits in a humbucker space for my RG? Oh, that's a tricky one. I'm trying to think of a single coil and a humbucker form factor. I mean, the other way around, sure. But I'm, you know, help me out here, people. Do they make a single coil in a humbucker form factor? Because even P90s aren't the same form factor, right? I'm just trying to think that size, right, to fit in that space. I'm not thinking of too many. Not coming to mind. Yeah, but dogpile, you have to remember that all pickups are a little bit microphonic. A tiny bit, right? Because all the best wax potting in the world, they don't get it quite right. So in that sense, it does pick up. I know what you're saying, but when the vibration transfer to it, there's probably a tiny bit. I saw a band where the singer sang into his humbucker for an effect. Yeah, I've had some pickups that were super, super microphonic because they weren't wax potted. Now, wax potting, especially vacuum wax potting, does remove a lot of that. But it's only a lot. not all of it. It's most of it. EMGs are probably some of the quietest because they almost fill it with like a resin core, right? It's like a polymer that I think they fill the back with. You know, it's like a epoxy or something, right? It's like straight up epoxy. It's pretty crazy. So that really seals it in, but that's what they have to do. They have to keep the windings, because if the windings move, they'll act microphonic, or they wax spot it. Some of those Chinese guitars I had, oh my God, you could talk right through that microphone. Absolutely. There are humbucker-sized P90s, okay. A lot of people saying you need an adapter, a humbucker-sized ring that facilitates the single coil. That would make sense. You would need some sort of an adapter, yeah. What's up, Sour Notes? Many of the major brands offer a humbucker-sized single coil. Seymour Duncan. Well, yeah, a humbucker-sized single coil? I know a single coil-sized humbucker all day long, but the other way around? I don't know. I can't think of it. I think Phil X even played his iPhone through the humbucker. Yeah, but I believe that uses a magnetic speaker, right? And so what he does is when he holds it near it, right? It's like it's got a little magnetic speaker. It's making a tiny bit. That's how that picks that up. Yeah, no, I know it's a little crazy. It's like, how does it get it? But you got to remember that the speaker is magnetic. Were the old Lace 900 pickups considered to be humbuckers? Rather, I don't know. I don't know the Lace 900s, P900s. Again, that's sort of a weird. It's the other way around is so much easier to go from single coil to double coil. Yeah, exactly, Michael. You're just in time for the last 9 minutes. Sound of this guitar. Oh, thanks so much, B. Pulaski. Polsky. Thanks so much, buddy. Much appreciated. I know, holy cow, only 8 minutes to go. I don't want. Where did the time go? We still don't have Kramer guitars in Australia. Are they in many U.S. stores? I find them mostly on the aggregators like Reverb, because Kramer ships out, as I understand it, on a first-come, first-served basis. So it's really whoever got their orders in first, get them. And I do see a bunch of them brand new. You know, like if you wanted an Orange Crush Kramer, I think you could go right up to Reverb and pick one up. Though now they don't come with the EMGs. I think the spec now is all Duncan. Let's go to the... Right. They don't do this exact spec anymore. I think it's black, it's like a metallic black, a metallic blue, and a metallic orange, right? Orange Crush, metallic, blue metallic, and I want to say it's like some like black. I don't know, I forget the name of it, but it's almost like Black Galaxy or something like that, right? It's got like a little bit of a sparkle to it, and Duncan pickups, Duncans, not EMGs. This is the older spec. Hey, Adam. Are you playing through the Spark? Have you tried it with an OD or a boost pedal in the front? I'm not playing through the Spark right now because if I did, I wouldn't be able to have a microphone, because the Spark would take over the audio if I use it as an audio device. But I haven't tried it with a pedal. I haven't yet. Yeah, it's got so many features. And again, I can't stress enough, it really is more of a practice amp than a jam amp, Even though it is 40 watts, the speakers are small. You would be able to jam with another guitar player, or a bass player, but I think once you get to a drummer, it's going to be a little tricky. Can you some of your acoustic guitars? Well, I only have 5 minutes left, so there's one. There's one right there. Right there. And the acoustics are locked away a little bit, but yeah, maybe for the next show, maybe one of these live shows, I'll do like all the acoustics. We could do that. Not a problem. Looking forward to the next NAMM 2021. Expecting big things in the Kramer lineup. Yeah, there was talk. I don't know if you saw like Blabbermouth or one of the Metal Injection, one of those websites. They had an interview with the CEO of the Gibson, and he was basically like, well, the first thing we did was we sort of propped up Gibson, and then the next thing we did was we sort of did the same thing for Epiphone with all the new Epiphone guitars for 2020. And then he's like, so we'll probably set our sights on the remaining brands, which are like, Kramer and Steinberger, and there's another one, Tedesco. Is that the brand they own? They have a few brands. But I could definitely see them doing something with Kramer. Maybe summer NAMM, I don't know. Or maybe winter NAMM next year. I'm not really sure. I can say one thing. I thought those new graphics, the throwback graphics in the winter were freaking sick. Then that 3D graphic, they should just make that a stock color. Just commission that off that guy and make that a stock color. I would buy that in a heartbeat. Yeah, right, Ben? An unplugged show. Still have the Farrington? I do. Unless it involves zombies, it doesn't count as a pandemic. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It seems to be spreading pretty quick. Made it to my town pretty damn fast. Oh, thanks, Joe. Did Kramer manage to duplicate their necks from back in the day? Yeah, I'd say this is pretty much it. Their necks were pretty standard, pretty much an ESP neck, quite frankly. They had one little run where their necks were like really flat and wide, but that was very short-lived and weren't super well received. That's why they quickly changed back to the prior shape. It was a very, very short period in like 84. Break out the Boss Mini, yeah. No, you rock, Winston. Oh, thanks, 16-bit Robert. Much appreciated. Ciao. Yeah, pretty much, John Doe. They were always evolving. But I will say that they kind of had it pretty much down from maybe the last, pretty much 86, 87, 88, and 89, because they turned over neck production to ESP. Right? So I think like 80 to about 80, almost into 84. Like all of 83, like 82 and 83, they had this one company making them. And then for a tiny period in like 84, they had the company making them. They were really wide, the boat hull, they used to call them. And then pretty much very quickly after that, they had ESP making the necks, and then finally they had ESP making the necks and the body. In 86, I think ESP was making the necks, and I want to say in 87 they were making the necks and the bodies at that point. Yeah, almost pulled the trigger on the Fender HM Strat. I got to try one of the new ones and see if it's the same width. Right, the old one used to be kind of wide. I have a feeling the new one isn't. They probably smartened up on that and said, let's not do that this time. Oh, thanks, Desert Dog. Thanks, Stewed 1953. I think that's 9 o'clock on the old clock there. So the beak necks were cool. Yeah, I really like those old beak necks. They were cool. It was something new. All right, dudes. Well, I think I'm going to call it a night. I appreciate everyone hanging out. And I don't think I'll be back next Saturday, but maybe the Saturday after that. Bring out the Lotus. I will have to bring the Lotus out. You can see a tiny bit of it right there, hiding behind that, right there. All right, dudes, I'm going to wrap it up. I'm scrolling up. Actually, I don't have to scroll up anymore. It's right there. It's usually right about this time someone rolls in and says, hey, what'd I miss? All right, dudes. Fender HM vanadium nuts really don't match. Okay. Well, I'll have to check it out. Is that a car? Yeah, it's a car in the driveway. All right, well, they're waiting on me, so I'm going to wrap it up. All right, dudes. You rock. I'm going to get my family out of purgatory and finally end this eventually. I could probably make them sit out there a little bit, but I have a feeling they're out there watching it. Okay. I'll see you in the next one, couple of weeks. Until then, you rock and rock on.